Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is David and in this video I'm going to show you the game Duck and Cover. A small and funny game that you don't have to take too serious. And it's for 2 up to 7 players, although there's a little expansion available where you can play up to 9 players. And the aim of the game is to stack your cards into one deck as soon as possible. And we're going to do that 3 times, so 3 rounds. So please let me show you how it's played. There are 7 decks of ducks in this game, going number 1 up to 12. Each color has its own team, so each player will get 1 set. You will shuffle the 12 cards and deal them randomly in this grid 4×3. So in this case it might look like this one. And this is a multiplayer solitaire game. You don't get to interfere with the decks from your opponents. When all players have laid down their cards, one player will be the captain and he will be in control of this deck. This deck has 2 times each number, so 2 number 1s up to 2 number 12s and 2 special cards. And we'll see if they come up. The captain player will draw the top card of the deck. He's in charge of this deck, but he will also play the game just as any other player. So he will reveal the top card of the deck, announce it to all the other players, number 6. And then all players are gonna look if they have the number 6 still in their grid. And when you do, you have 2 options. You can either cover a card that is adjacent to it, either horizontal or vertical. Or you can duck and then you can move it anywhere as long as you put it adjacent with the short or long side of the card next to another card. And that can be outside of the grid. But for now we're gonna cover a card because there are also small numbers on the right bottom of the card, and those are the points you will collect at the end of the game if you did not get all cards into one stack before someone else does, or when there's a certain amount of cards in the discard pile. So you'll try to cover as most of these splash points as possible, unless you think you're going to win the round. Because if you're the first player to get all your cards into one deck, those splash points on the card on the top will be reduced from your score. So you get negative points, which is good, because after 3 rounds the winner is the player who has the least points. But for now, let's say we're gonna cover number 12, because that's worth 5 points with this card number 6. And that's the turn. So when everybody has moved his card number 6, we're gonna go to the next card. In this case it's number 5. That's this one over here. So let's put it over here to cover the 10, which has 4 splash points. Then we get to number 3, so I'll put it over here. I'm gonna continue to play until I get a number I can't play anymore, so we'll put the number 8 over this in number 11, so we get 3 splash points instead of 4. Here we have number 4. I'll put it over this number 8. This is one of the 2 special cards, and this one means you can play your highest number. So for me that would be number 7. So I'll put number 7 over number 5, covering another 2 splash points. Then we get to number 2. I cannot move 2 onto another card because there's no card adjacent. So I'll simply slide it on side of another card and I'll put it over here. Number 7. I'm playing rather well. So I'll put this one over here. Ha! Number 10. This is a number I have covered, so I cannot play the number 10 anymore. Then you have to say quack, just like a duck does. So all players know you are not able to play a number 10 card. If there's at least one player left that can play the number 10 card, that player or those players simply move their card and the game continues. There's another number 10, so I'll say quack again. Then we get to number 8. I don't have number 8, so quack. If all players quack, that means no one can play the number 8 anymore. That card gets removed from the captain's pile and goes into the discard pile. The game will end when a player has only 1 stack of cards left, so all cards are fixed together, or when the discard area is full. The number of cards that can go into the discard area depends on the number of players, but the total is 11. So when you're playing with 2 players, there can be 9 cards in the discard area, if you're playing with a maximum of 7 players, there can only be 4 cards in the discard area. And then when the last card is played in the discard area, all players will get the points from their splash symbols as penalty points, so adding up to their score. Let's continue until we get the other special card, number 12, quack. Well, everybody has covered number 12, so it goes to the discard pile. For example, then we have number 9, quack, number 11, quack, and of course it's fun when everybody's quacking all around. Number 3, I can move, so slide it onto number 2. And now I only have 6 points left, because this one is a 0. Number 2, quack, number 1, yes. Now I cover my 3 points, so now I have only 3 points left if the game should end now, which is good. 12, quack quack, quackity quack, number 5, number 4, hey, number 4, another point gone, so still 2 points left. So if there's now a number 1 or a number 4, there's a number 1 and I can put this card on top of my deck before anyone else created a single deck, I have won the round. In that case, these points will be negative points, which is no use for now because they are worth 0 points. But I want to show you the other card. Oh, this one. This is the other special card, and it simply means we're gonna play the same number again as the previous card. So in this case, that would be the number 1 card. To make the example more clear, if I can put my number 6 onto my number 1, if I'm the first player to do so, or maybe multiple players in the same turn, these will be worth negative points, so my score would be -2. However, all players who did not manage to create one deck by their turn, or all players when the discard display would be full, will score the points of their splash numbers. So in this case I would score +5 points. And that means simply the round is done. You're gonna shuffle your cards, make a grid of 4 by 3 again. This deck will be collected and shuffled again. And we're gonna play 3 rounds total. And after those 3 rounds, who has the least points is the winner. Should there be a tie between the winners, then the player with the least visible cards at the end of the 3rd game is the winner. And if that's a tie, then those players share the victory. And that is how you play duck and cover. Very easy, very fast, very fun. I like this game to open the game night or to finish the game night, just for some light fun. 12 cards, you can move the card that comes up from the draw pile. You can cover a card adjacent, or you can duck the card somewhere else adjacent to another card anywhere in your grid, even outside of the grid. And you're trying to be the first player to get all your cards into one deck. That's it, and that's all. And it's for 2 to 7 players, although there's a small expansion available where there's simply 2 more decks, so you can play it up to 9 players. Oops, I just found out in the small expansion with 2 extra player decks is also an additional special card, plus these overview cards to keep track of how many cards can be in the discard pile when playing with this number of players. So when playing with 2 players, there can be 9 cards in the discard before the end of the game, and when playing with maybe 8 players, there can only be 3 cards in the discard until the game ends. But there's also this special card, and you'll simply shuffle it into the pile, and when this card is drawn, it goes to the captain's discard pile, plus the next 3 numbers, and they will not be scored this turn. So 1, and everybody can see the numbers, number 9, number 6, and number 1. These 3 cards are skipped for this round, so we simply go on to the next card, and now everybody can play, oops, the previous number. Then you have to check. That was number 8. And so play continues, but you're missing 3 cards because of that new special card. And if you want to try out this game for free, you can do so by playing it on Board Game Arena. And there will also be the quack sound. So if you have any questions about duck and cover, please feel free to ask them in the comments below. My name is David, thank you for watching and hope to see you next time.